Okay, so one suggestion is that we can make the records public or record of spending public, and only MDG can verify and write to that record, but it is public. Okay, we can make the records public, but it doesn't solve the problem of MDG denying its previous transaction.
सैमी, एक
Yeah.
सोल्यूशन ये भी पॉसिबल है कि मतलब इंस्टेड ऑफ जस्ट गिविंग दैट पावर टू एमडीजी, दो तीन ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस के बीच ये पावर शेयर हो, तो
Okay.
देन इट विल कीप अ चेक इफ यू नो व्हाट द अदर ऑर्गेनाइजेशन इज डूइंग.
Okay, very good. So MDG, obviously. Okay, so the set idea is, so we have to actually combine both the ideas, that we have to make the records public, because even if we are distributing the power among different organizations, those organizations can conspire within themselves and take control. So basically, we have to make the records public and we have to decentralize this information. So I'm tackling the first transaction, first problem, that MDG can deny previous coin transactions as transactions are verified only by MDG. So the first design choice is called immutable transactions. So how do we typically detect a change in data? The obvious answer is hash function. Obviously, if you have the entire copy of data, you can detect changes, but like if you don't have the entire copy of the blockchain and if you want to detect minor changes in your data, hash functions are a good way to ensure that your data is unique, and even if slight change occurs in that data, there is large change in hash functions. So how hash functions work is, we will be treating hash functions as complete black box. So just assume that what hash functions do is they map certain strings to certain other strings. So what they will do is they will take a message, they will take a data structure, they will take any form of data and would generate a string for them. So suppose I have a long message, and basically I will break, these are just minute details. If you don't want to understand, they will be of no use later on. There are standard libraries which already implement this very well. So what we will do is we will it takes as input a string and generates a unique string for every input block. We have to remember just that. So also there are certain properties which hash functions must follow in order to be useful. The first function is that the hash function must be collision resistant. So basically hash functions are mappings from all possible strings to 256. We are considering a special case where the output is 256 bit. So basically it is the standard that the hash function output is 256 bit strings. It is just an accepted standard. There is nothing like unique about that. We can very well have chosen 512 bit strings or some other strings. So obviously there would be many to one mapping, because on the left side we have all possible strings and on the right we have 256 bit strings. But we designed those functions that even if there are mappings, many to one mappings, it is really hard to find them. So basically on the output side we have 256 bit strings. So total number of strings is 2 to the power 256. So by pigeonhole principle, if we want to find a collision, we have to, in a naive, if we are just following the most basic algorithm of finding collision, then we will have to check 2 to the power 256 plus 1 strings in order to find a collision, which is a very large number. So we, for all our purposes, we assume that our hash function is collision resistant. That is, if the input to the hash function are different, then the outputs will also be different. Okay, this is the first property. The second property is that, which is obviously related to the first property, that there is no particular way to identify the message if we are given the hash. And the argument is again that we will have to check 2 to the power 256 plus 1 input strings if we are doing naively, and that is computationally expensive. Even if we make 10,000 or 1 lakh calculations per second, it would take thousands of years to calculate a hash collision or to calculate the input. So basically these two are the hash function properties, and what we do is we'll hash the entire block. So this block is a data structure and we pass it to the hash function, and it would create basically a digest, a hash of the data structure, and we will safely store the hash. Now the question is that what if someone deletes an entire block, or what if MDG changes so we had these sequence of transactions. Okay, so what if MDG edits all the transactions and recalculates the hash of all those transactions? So we have to make this our currency prone to that